We need to reduce regulations and let people thrive. When Carl Karcher started this company, and there are some people I wish could be here tonight. One of them is Morris Schenker, who God took him from us. Another, Charles Siegel, God took him from us as well. The other one's Carl Karcher. Carl started this company. He died about 2 years ago at the age of 91, which should give you some indication how good our food is for you. Got a little sales pitch. But Carl started with a hot dog cart in south central Los Angeles, across from where they kept the Goodyear blimp, and they had this Goodyear factory, and he'd get the factory workers on the weekends. He'd get people coming in to see the blimp. He almost went out of business immediately because he had some regulatory issues with the state. Today, he couldn't even have started. In fact, he literally couldn't have started because there's now a regulation in California that you can't open a fast food restaurant in the area where he started the hot dog cart. A company that now employs 70,000 people nationwide would never have come into existence in this current regulatory framework. This is why businesses aren't investing. They're afraid. So I talked about the fertile field and the barren field. The barren field is a field where even if they stimulate, even if stimulus worked, which I argued at length it doesn't, but even if we spend a little money to get things going, nobody wants to invest. I mean, businesses will accept the benefits of a slight bump in business, and if there's a tax break, I'm going to talk in a moment about the payroll tax deduction. I mean, I'm not going to hire more people because I get a payroll tax deduction, but I'm happy to accept the tax break, and maybe there'll be a little more money in the economy. But it'll just go up a little. Nobody's going to invest based on these kinds of incentives. And if you don't invest, if American businesses don't invest, we don't create jobs. We want to invest. We'd love to invest. And I think the president would like us to invest. I think ideologically, he has a difficult time overcoming the things I just mentioned: taxes, Obamacare, EPA, NLRB, overregulation. But I think he wants things to grow. And in this context, let's take a look real quickly at his jobs bill, keeping in mind that the idea of the bill, the way it's proposed, is to create jobs so we can get this economic cycle that the president mentioned earlier going. And that absolutely is a very important thing to do. But would this bill do it? And I'm going to talk very generally because I only have a few minutes here if I'm going to take any questions. But let's start with his plan to reduce payroll taxes to incentivize hiring. Like I said, as an American businessman, I appreciate the tax break. But I will not hire a person because I got this tax break. American businesses hire people because they have business they need to service. And by hiring somebody to service the business, they will increase their profits. We don't hire people because we get a tax break on their payroll taxes. Nobody's sitting back there saying, God, if I only had a payroll tax break, I could go out and hire people. It's just not the way the system works. It may be the way that liberal economists think the system works. But in reality, if they've ever had a job, it is not the way the system works. Then the administration touts this tax as this incentive is saving $265 billion. That's the payroll tax. That will save that much in taxes, which again, we appreciate. So a little over $250 billion tax break. Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid last week came out with a plan to finance the bill with a 5.6% tax on millionaires and billionaires, which amounts to a permanent $500 billion tax increase on businesses and investors. So the deal is for 13 months, which goes until January of 2013. What's that right after? November of 2012. So you get a tax break that goes till January of 2013, or you save $250 billion a year, and in exchange for that, American businesses, you now get a tax hit, a tax increase of $500 billion that will last permanently. This is not something that's going to incentivize people to hire. It may be a good idea. I don't think reducing payroll taxes anybody thinks is a bad idea. But if we're talking about initiating a cycle, an economic cycle of growth, not a boost, not economy's like a sawtooth, it goes up and down. We're not talking about a boost. We want to get that cycle going with hiring, spending, economic growth. That's not going to do it.